Hey good people, this is Ahmed Minawa from MinawaTube, and today I'm gonna talk to you about the most popular job in Thailand for expats, and that's being a teacher. So let's start the video right now. To work here in Thailand, you need to follow these 4 steps that I'm gonna talk about in this video. Step number 1 is to know when the schools are opening here in Thailand. You can research about it online, but I would tell you that private schools open the same way they open in Western countries. So it starts in the end of August, the beginning of September, and that's the beginning of the academic year. And then the academic year ends in the end of May or mid June, and that's it. That's the end of the academic year. Just the same system as most of the countries in the world. But for public school, it's a bit different. They have 2 semesters or 2 terms. One starts in the mid of October and the other one starts in the mid of May. So you have to apply for a job teaching here in Thailand usually a month or two before the school starts. So you have to be very careful when you want to teach here in Thailand. If you want to teach in a private school, you know when to come here to Thailand. If you want to teach in a public school, you have to know when to come here in Thailand. So it's very important. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is coming to Thailand. So let's say that you decide that you want to work here in Thailand as a teacher, you have to come here in Thailand. I would suggest you coming here in Thailand and applying for a job as a teacher while you're here in Thailand. Why is that? Online, you can apply actually for a job as a teacher online, but it's a bit tricky when you want to work in a public school. Public schools here in Thailand prefer either to work with agencies or you go there and apply face to face. They don't really accept teachers just online. Maybe some of them will do, but that is actually like very rare. They would want you to be there and they want you to have the interview face to face. Private schools actually are more flexible, but also they prefer face to face, but they're also more flexible. You can apply online, and if they like what they see and they interview you and everything is okay, they can just send to you all the documents and things will be much easier compared to a public school. So I would suggest if you come here to Thailand, it's gonna your chances to get a job as a teacher here in Thailand are gonna be much higher. So that's step number 2. Step number 3, and this is the most important step of all the 4 steps, is getting the Nambi visa. So when you come to Thailand and you apply for jobs and then you get the right job, they accept you and you like the job, they're gonna give you a bunch of documents so you can get out of the country and get a Nambi visa, because you cannot work in Thailand with a tourist visa as a teacher. That's illegal. So you would have to get out of the country and come back to the country with a Nambi visa, and then after they'll make for you a work permit. So getting the Nambi visa, they will have to give you a bunch of documents, contract, and other documents from the Ministry of Education, and you will take all those documents and apply for a Nambi visa. Now this is the tricky part. If you're from Africa, you would have to go back to Africa, either to your country or to the nearest country in Africa that has a Thai consulate or a Thai embassy. That's the only way. You can't go to any of the neighboring countries to Thailand to get the non-B visa. They won't accept your documents. That's for African applicants. For Westerner, it's pretty easy. They can just cross the border, just take a bus here in Thailand and cross the border, go to Laos, go to Myanmar, Cambodia, and just apply for the Nambi there, and they will get it within 3 to 4 days, and then come back to the country and start teaching, and life will go on. It costs them less money and of course less time for them to do. So after you get the Nambi visa and you come back here to Thailand, that's when you go to step 4, getting the work permit. But step 3 is the most important. If you're working in a public school, you need to push them so they can do for you the documents very fast, and then you can get out of the country and get the Nambi visa. If you're in a private school, usually they will know how to do things very fast and things will be okay. Step number 4, this is the easiest step, you can say that, because you already have a job, You have your Nambi, you have like 2 month visa in the Nambi, plus you can get an extra 30 days. Now all what you need to do is to get all the documents again, the contract, the documents from the Ministry of Education here in Thailand. And while you're here in Thailand, you don't need to get out of the country. You need to apply for the work permit. The work permit basically says that you're working for a certain school for a period of, depending on the contract, whether it's 6 months, 1 year, or even more. It just states that. That's on the work permit itself, which is a small booklet. On your passport, you'll have a stamp which says almost the same thing. So there you'll be secure, you'll have a job, you'll start working. When you get the work permit, you start working, getting your salary, and things will be okay. If you want to stay in the same school, you just have to extend your contract while you're here in Thailand. But as I told you, step 1, step 2 is okay. Step 3 is the trickiest part, and this, why I say it's tricky, because it has a lot to do with time. You're on a tourist visa before, of course, you get over step 3. You're on a tourist visa, you don't have the Nambi yet, so it's running out. You need to get all the documents before your tourist visa runs out. For Westerners, it's a little bit easier. They just have to cross the border and come back, and their whole process, or the time they can stay here in Thailand, starts again. But for Africans, they have to go back to Africa, go back either to their country or to any country that they don't need a visa to go to. So that's the most important step number 3. I'm going to leave some links down below in the description. You can check them, and you can get into some forums and learn a lot more about being a teacher here in Thailand. And also there is some websites where you can apply for a teaching job here in Thailand from wherever you are. So if you like this video, please press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below in case you have any question. I will try my best to answer it as fast as possible.